Um,
Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to another episode of PanAfriSim. Another flight, this one from uh, Dar es Salaam and to Mombasa before we head to Kilimanjaro. So it's in and out of Tanzania going into Kenya and back out. So as usual, we are inside the airplane, cold and dark. First thing we're gonna do is close the power guard here and turn on the emergency lights, and we're gonna also turn on the dome lights right here, just to make sure that we can clearly see everything. Alright, so first thing of course we're going to do as usual is to just as soon as we turn on power to quickly come down here and test our fire system. Yep, so first thing we're gonna do, make sure the fault lights are working. That's good, and then next is we're gonna try to see if the alarms are, zoom in a little bit closer. There it is. Okay, got the fires going, fire check, so that worked out well. So, testing out that the two jet engines, of course, and the APU are taken care of. The next thing we need to do, it's a little bit difficult to get to, so I'm gonna move the power levers. So basically it's to test and see if the tanks that are supposed to have the fire retardants are full. So there's two squibs right here. So we want to check this is the right side. And we can see that it's all green, and then we need to check the left side. That's also all green, so fantastic for the engines. Let's see if we can do that test right here. That's the only test left that we have to do. Yep, that cargo test is super. So we're good. So now we can go ahead and stand back up and just quickly go over. He's probably going to be able to turn on the iris. We're going to probably go ahead and request ground power. So here we are requesting ground power. And while the ground power is connecting, we're just going to do a couple of tests. One of them is going to be for the recorder. Alright, that seems to be doing okay. We're going to do the air Mac airspeed warning for number 1, and then number 2. We're also going to stick the stall warning. So we got those sorted out. We're gonna go ahead and make sure that we got LPAC set to auto, as well as valve set to auto. And we're checking, yep, our prong is available, so we're gonna turn over to ground power. So now we got ground power going. So we're just gonna start coming down right here. So yaw damper, we're gonna turn that on. We're gonna turn the power. We're gonna test the cross feed. We just checking here the lights, just make sure that we have that blue light coming on. Turn it back off. And then from here we're just checking, make sure the power is on, everything's looking good. Right here we're going to go ahead and turn before we turn on the seatbelt sign, let's just make sure that we get our fuel sorted out. It's a very short flight, so we're going to go to fuel, and we're just going to request for 10,000 pounds, which should be more than enough. And we might as well also request the payload. It's going to be pretty empty flight. We're just going to ferry pretty much an empty aircraft today. That's the plan. Alright, and now that we have that sorted out, we can come back here and make sure that we turn on the fasten seatbelt sign. We're going to turn on the heat for the window, then the hydraulic pumps. Alright, today's flight is probably going to be heading. We're gonna need to find information about our arrival airport. We have Navigraph that's gonna give us that information, so we're bringing that up. Yep, we want to load current flight. There you go. And it's nice that everything is touch. Alright, so for our arrival, we're just going to check the airport information real quick. It's elevation 200 feet, so we want to set that right here. So we'll set that to 200, and our flight is going to be 15,000 feet, so we got that set. Alright, and then we will have to also load our routing. So for now, what we will be checking is to make sure we fire up our APU. So we're just gonna get that started. We have our logo light today. We're gonna probably have our wing lights as well, and then we're gonna have position steady for our light. And now we can come here and start loading the FMC. First thing, of course, is we want to let the airplane know where we're at, so we'll just load that right here. HTDA is the code for Dar es Salaam, and then that's our origin, and we're heading to HKMO, which is Maury International. Today's flight is ETH924. And now we can go to departure. Our departure is gonna be out of 23, and we are doing the ETV1B is our departure. So now we're gonna go to route. We're gonna activate and look at the route. Yep. So we're going to then direct to ETVU. So ETIVU is going to be direct. Then to ITGOP is direct again. ITGOP direct. And after this is UVUCO direct. So UVUCO direct as well. And then from there direct to MO302. So MO302 direct. Okay, what is it that we MO302 is that? Nope, maybe it's M0302. M0302. Let's see if that's the case. Nope. Okay, so somehow this doesn't want, so let's skip that and go to EGMOC. from Uvuco, now we can do the arrival. So, departure arrival, ILS runway 21, and we're saying that Uvuc 2A. So let's keep going down. They don't have Uvuc 2A, so let's just take Uvuc 1A and transition via, let's see what other options there are for transition. Okay, no transition. Let's see the route. Okay, so let's see. There's a discontinue here. Right, so Egmook CI21. Yep. Alright. So we can go ahead and execute that and go to perfect. So we're done now. We can exit this. So right. So let's see if we can look at our. Alright, let's just make sure that our route is clean. Okay. Alright, so let's go to Perfinite. We have a cost index of 18 is what we're using. And we will have 4 for our reserve, or our zero fuel rate, again, it's very low. And today's flight is going to be 15,000 feet. Alright, 150, and our transition is also gonna be 15,000 feet, and limits, temperature 35. We're gonna do takeoff. Alright, flaps 5. And CG at 23.8, which gives a trim of 421, so we need to adjust that a little bit here. Yeah, a little bit higher. Okay. Yep, 421 is good, and this is our V1, and our V2 is set to 128, so go ahead and set that right here. Set this to 128. And then heading up 230 for our departure runway. Alright, and our first turn is going to be, let's get that information real quick. By the way, we need some light here because it's a little too dark. The panel turned on here. Starts right there. Alright. Okay. And then there was something, yes, that was talking about in the perf in it, 3,500 was the transition altitude. Okay, so just need to make sure that we have that properly set up. Okay, so at this point we should be able to get our clearance. So let's go ahead and open up our communication with tower. We're gonna fix this. We just don't want it to be big and massive like that. Just gonna make it nice and small. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and tune to ground. HTDA ready for the copy for departure clearance.
Ethiopian 924 is cleared to Mombasa Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 23 climb and maintain 6,000 feet. Departure frequency is 119.3 squawk 0666.
Takeoff runway 23, climb and maintain 6,000 feet. Departure frequency at 119.3 squawk 0666. Ethiopian 924.
Ethiopian 902 full readback correct. Contact ground on 121.8.
Alright, initial altitude would be 6,000. And we have our transponder set to 666. That's not a good number per se, but it's alright. Okay, let's make sure we got our TFC on. And we're going to slide over here. Alright, so let's turn on our flight director, master on the left side, and then we're gonna turn on the second one on there. Okay, so we got our flight director on now. Yeah, so we need to get ready for our pushback. So go to the menu, FS action, and now we're going to go ahead and move over to APU power. So ground, we can request that to be disconnected. Alright, I'm going to disconnect ground. Now that we have power on APU, we're going to go ahead and request to have our doors closed. So we're going to go ahead and release staircase. And that should go ahead and start closing our door. You can see now forward door is closed. And we can go back and request pushback. So I'm gonna turn the nose right. Turn the nose right. Turn the nose right. Yep. Let's have our tug ready and let's get it started.
Pushback and start. They want the tail to our left. Roger that. Ready to push. Tail to the left. Park brakes off.
Right, brakes off.
Brakes released. Here we go.
Collision on at this point. Alright, pushback is started. Alright, so packs off, bleed is on, and let's start engine number 2 first. Waiting for 25% to hit on N2 before we give it a bit of fuel.
Steering pin is pulled. Watch for the salute and release from guidance on your right after flight.
There it is. Can set the brakes. Alright, we can hear engine number 2 revving up. Alright, so I'm going to get engine number 1 going now. Again, we're waiting for N2 to hit 25%. And give it some fuel. And we wait for both engine number 1 and number 2 to get stable. Well, it looks like we have 2 stable engines. Engine start back to off. We're going to move to using electric from the engines. And now we can turn off our APU. Turn off our APU bleed. Turn packs back on. And check controls, checking hydraulics, they seem to be alright. Then you can turn off that display, bottom display turned off. We're gonna set our flaps to, we're gonna set our flaps to 5. And set to RTO. Alright, flap set to 5. You can go ahead and decast is off, so we have a controller right here that's going to allow us to go ahead and turn that on. As for our flight now, so we're just gonna go ahead and turn the gas on. So now we have our traffic set to on. And we're going to go ahead and request taxi, ETH924, ready to taxi for departure.
Ethiopian 924 taxi to and hold short of runway 23 using taxiway Charlie. Contact tower on 118.3 when ready.
118.3 when ready. Taxi to and hold short of runway 23 for ETH924. Alright. Alright, so we are pretty much set to start our taxi. We're gonna go ahead and at this point turn off the brakes. Gonna first check our configuration, make sure there's no error as we get started. And doesn't seem to be any error, so we're gonna go ahead and set it back down. That's one of those weird ones where they have right in the middle. HTDA ready for departure.
Ethiopian 924 QNH 29er.9er 2 wind calm. Cleared for takeoff runway 23.
Clear for takeoff runway 23, HTDA 924. Alright, it's a very light load, so we don't have to go all the way to the back. A short runway departure is going to be just fine, so we're just going to go ahead, get in and line up. On for departure. Letting the back know that we're ready. Turn on the pretty much all set. Alright, so at this point we're, as usual, of course, gonna make sure we start off at make sure both engines hit 40%, and then from there go to Toga. Alright, let's get it rolling. Okay. Waiting for 40%. Okay, both at 40%. And there we go.